We have with us Chhattisgarh Health Minister TS Singh Deo, who was one part of the team which led Congress to victory in 2018 in the state. He had also held the manifesto committee ahead of the elections in 2018. We have with us Mr. Deo. So let us dive in. Mr. Deo, it has been almost 3.5 years since the Congress government has come to power in Chhattisgarh. What would you say are the achievements, and what have you fulfilled from the manifesto that you presented to the people?
The manifesto had 36 principal points. Chhattisgarh ke 36 laksh. We tied it up with Chhattisgarh, and that apart 280 points in all. So of them, the most challenging were the loan waiver and providing prices above the MSP for some farm produce, paddy, sugarcane, maize, gram. It was a big challenge. Then we had also stipulated raising the rate for purchase of beedi leaves. They were being purchased at 2,500 per thousand. We had stipulated 4,000. So these are things which are touching the pockets of the agrarian economy. That apart, we had taken up things like halving the electricity charge up to 400 units. Bijli bill half, that was one of our slogans. Very big challenges like returning land to those agriculturists whose lands were taken up by large industrial units to set up their plants, and if they had not done so within 5 years, bhatta parso. It was a major initiative of Rahul Gandhi ji. So that was a big challenge to give back that land. So we took it up and we did it in Lohandi Guda. There's more to be done, of course, but about 1,600 acres or more of land was returned to the farmers. Smaller issues like there was a stoppage on sale of small bits of land in urban areas. If you had a land holding of 0.5 decimals, 5 not 0.5 but 5 decimals, that is 0.5 of an acre, you were 0.05 of an acre, you were not allowed to sell. That was the initiative taken by the last government. They were there for 15 years. So we had stipulated things like that, that permission would be given. If you have a small patch of land also, you have a right over that. Why should the government prevent you from selling that land? If you want to sell it, you sell it. A lot of things like that which we had taken up. Minimum support price not only for farm produce but for forest produce also. We had thought of about 50 forest produce whom we would have liked to bring under the MSP umbrella, and we have succeeded in doing that. So today Chhattisgarh is amongst the leading suppliers of forest produce. A big issue which was pending, which we were able to do, which we have done, is regularizing teachers that we have done. We had regularized, there were teachers working through the Panchayat department. They were Panchayat Shiksha Karmis, and they had wanted to be regularized. So we have taken a call, the government took a call, and all Shiksha Karmis who complete 2 years, they were taken into the education department.
So you would then say that your achievements were mostly in the agrarian sector and a bit in the government sector for the state?
And PDS, we said universal PDS, so Chhattisgarh is also among those states. I think Tamil Nadu was the first, maybe the only who has adopted universal PDS. So
Chhattisgarh has also.
We have, though we have categorized it. A large number of households are getting rice at 1 rupee a kg as per the SECC census, which is the basis for the Government of India to establish the below poverty line. They have pegged it at 38 lakh families. We are giving paddy to 56, 58 lakh families.
35 kgs at...
35 kgs for 5 people. If there are more than 7 kg per person. And the same thing applies for the people in the APL category, but the price of paddy rice has been pegged at 10 rupees. So they are also part of the universal health for the universal PDS, but at differentiated rates, 1 rupee and 10 rupees.
You had promised universal health
Healthcare.
insurance in Chhattisgarh.
Not health insurance, universal health care,
Okay.
which is providing health care to the people from public funding,
Yes.
not through the insurance model.
Not like the Rajasthan model, the universal health care that Rajasthan has implemented.
It is similar.
Okay.
It is similar. The idea is that whatever the cost of healthcare, it should be borne by the state.
Yes.
So we are removed from that. We have pegged it at 5 lakhs,
Yes.
which was part of the Ayushman thing. The Ayushman coverage was for these 38 lakh families only, who were under the BPL category in the SECC survey, census survey. So now we are providing 5 lakh healthcare for 58 lakh families.
So not for all the.
And the others are still at 50,000. And in addition, we have launched Mukhyamantri Vishesh Swasth Sahayata Yojana for healthcare for particular ailments, particular procedures up to 20 lakhs. So all BPL families who need probably a heart surgery or a kidney transplant or a lock ear transplant. So 14 categories of health ailments which cost much more than that 5 lakh limits, and we are including more procedures which will be covered by the 20 lakh limit. So those in the BPL category, the 58 lakh families, they don't need to seek any other clearance.
Okay.
You have a ration card. For those treatments, you can go to registered hospitals, public or private, and you can get your treatment. Or private. Those who are registered, because we put all these various schemes under one head. Ayushman is also there. The special provisions for children, their heart treatment, etc. Chirayu, that is there. Lock ear, that is there. So we've clubbed all under one scheme. We have called it Dr. Khubchand Baghel Yojana, and people are getting treatment under that. And we have moved away from the insurance model. In the sense, we have taken the trust model. You have 3 options under Ayushman. One is the complete trust model. The other is the hybrid model. You part trust, part insurance, and the third is the insurance model. So various states have adopted various models. We were in the hybrid. I did not find it proper in the sense that the insurance companies, they were charging the straight 15% for establishment expenditure. So if the state government was giving 600 crores to the insurance company for healthcare, 15%, say 100 crores, was straight away cut off for their administrative cost. So for the healthcare, only 500 crores was left. So that is why we have removed the insurance company. We go through the trust model, where the entire cost is within the government. The government is managing it. So we have opted.
Certain medicines are also free?
We have an EDL list, essential drug list, and other medicines. So these medicines are provided free of cost to the citizens at various levels, right from the mitanin petty. We have a box that is given to the ASHA workers, mitanins. They give those medicines. It might be something for fever, cough and cold. They take malaria tests on the ground, on the spot. They can do that. So that mitanin petty, and from there to the medical college, right from the ground level to the highest tertiary level healthcare. But we are removed from universal healthcare, implementing universal healthcare, because that entails legislation like right to information, right to education, right to work, right to food. Universal healthcare is right to healthcare. It is a universal concept adopted by the United Nations in 1947 for all countries in the world to take up. So far only 8 countries have succeeded. The date has been pegged to 2030 now, by 2030. So in between we have taken up this initiative at the state level. It's not a right. So similarly, healthcare as a right was there.
In the
manifesto 2019. We've taken it forward.
So there are a few points that you had mentioned in the manifesto. So I wanted to just check if some of those have been implemented. You had promised upgradation of district hospitals and medical colleges.
Yes, that's going on. We had 4 medical colleges running 2 were in the process of being made. We have got approval for, and we are tendering for 3 more medical colleges, and 1 private medical college we are taking over. So the target is we have 11 Lok Sabha constituencies, so 1 medical college in each Lok Sabha constituencies. This one we have taken over would mean 10 out of 11 we will have. The 11th will be Champa Janjgir Lok Sabha constituency, where we have started procedures. The Government of India has not included it in its budget proposal this year, new medical colleges. They also support 60-40. But we are going ahead with having earmarked the land and building the hospital from the side of the state government for the medical college, because that would be a 500 to 600 bedded hospital. So that, then we have taken up another district, Kavardha, where we would like to put up a medical college. That would be beyond the 11. And there are possibilities in Dantewada and Dhamtari too. These are centers, so as budget allows, with time, we will be taking up these.
Increase in pension for families who have lost members to Naxal attacks?
That is there.
That is there. Setting up of wildlife sanctuaries in Lemru and Korba?
Lemru has happened. In fact, Lemru we had targeted 450 square kilometers initially. From 450, we have been able to take it to 1990 square kilometers.
Implementation of RTE until class 12, the progressive RTE.
That is there.
There have been 2 major tribal protests in Chhattisgarh, one in Hasdeo against the mining and in Bastar against the police atrocities. The state hasn't responded to their requests and is kind of seen as being ignoring them. What do you plan to do in this?
It is a sensitive issue. On the one hand, if we see the Bastar situation, you have left-wing extremists who are seen to be entrenched there in certain pockets. We lost before the 2014 elections our senior most leaders. I feel we would have formed the government if our PCC president had not been eliminated. We lost Mahend Karmaji. That was a massacre that is still, it hurts us very deeply. And they entered into the most unapproachable areas of Chhattisgarh. The Abujmad area, parts of Bijapur, very dense jungles. Part of that area has still not been mapped on the revenue records. Those are dense, very dense and very scarcely populated areas, and they have been able to enter into them and make a sort of a secure place for themselves. So the policy of the governments since the formation of Chhattisgarh has been to go on increasing the presence of the paramilitary. So if we had 5 battalions, we have 60 battalions today. The only way which has been seen is to make corridors of control. They have control over large areas geographically in terms of the jungle areas, and the administration is, let us say, a little distant in those areas. They are not able to approach on many counts. Though during health initiatives, health department was allowed to go and service the people. Under those circumstances where the government has to establish its control, where force is being adopted by, let us say, left-wing extremists, they have arms, they use arms to make their presence felt. So you cannot respond to them with a dove, with an olive branch. Where you have force, then you have to have presence of force, and then you talk. Eventually you have to talk and get out of these sort of things. So if they come within the parameters of the constitution and talk under that, I think the Chief Minister has also expressed those views on a number of occasions.
What about in Hasdeo where the mining?
So that is what I meant about Bastar. So when the protest came, it was about not having that camp established. So the people inside, Andar wale, we call them Andar wale, the Naxalites, if we call them in other terms, they have certain control or they are able to pressurize or get people to demonstrate that we don't want a camp here. So those are strategic camps to break that movement, free movement of left-wing extremists from one area to the other. They were crucial. So that was the issue, and there was an unfortunate situation where people got restive and aggressive and they lost their lives. The government had sent their representatives, a member of parliament had gone, a minister had gone, MLAs had gone. There was a talk with those people. We tried to ask them for their needs, what do they want. The government had also proposed some relief for the families who had lost their lives, but it didn't, it doesn't seem to have sort of settled there. But the camp is there, and there's not so much of an unrest as probably the people feeling that they have not been heard. So that sense is there. As far as Hasdeo is concerned, that was part of a movement which also included the Lemru project. When the Lemru project was coming, before the elections, Rahul Gandhi ji had come to that area, part of his tour touched that area, and other areas where coal mining was there and the elephant human-animal interaction was there. That time Rahul ji, on the proposal of the villagers, had said that we will not permit these activities. So, when the UPA government was there, at that point in time, the Rajasthan government had entered into an agreement for its power plants. It was not Adani's. It was the government of Rajasthan who entered into a government agreement with the government of Chhattisgarh, and this joint vehicle is doing the mining. Adani is the operator. He is the contractor. He is not the owner of the mine. The mine has been allocated to the Rajasthan Vidyut Mandal with the Chhattisgarh Mining Corporation as a partner, and Adani is the operator, MDO. The fact of the matter is, this happens to be in my constituency. By chance, this activity as it is taking place is in my MLA constituency. Many villagers agreed to give their land, in the sense that there was interaction with these operators. They would approach them, we'll give you jobs, we'll help you for marriages. People had come to me, Baba, they are saying they'll give us 25,000 rupees for the marriage of a son or a daughter. I said, don't take it. It's for you to decide. But if you take it, then it means that you're agreeing to give your land. So think about it. If you want to give, you're the owner of the land, you give. I am with you, so to say. If as a public representative I am to take a stand, so my stand has always been only one, that I'll be with the people so long as that village is unanimous in its decision. There is a village again by chance in my constituency only, Lakhanpur block, and there are these two villages adjoining each other, absolutely contiguous to each other. One village agreed to give their land. They had called me also. I had gone there. This is before the elections, 2014 elections. I said, government is coming out with a new policy. Don't give your land. Today the compensation rate is 50,000, 75,000, 1 lakh. The new policy is coming with 5 lakhs, 7.5 lakhs, 10 lakhs. And new other rehabilitation demands of yours will be met. So wait. Don't go. Baba, these people are coming, collector, SDM is coming, police people are coming. I said, if they do anything, don't be violent. If you want, I'll come. I'll stand first in front of them. If a bullet is fired, I'll be the first person to be hit. The law of the land says that time there was compulsory acquisition. So government can take your land. It's a 2-year process, notices this, that and the other. But the government can take your land. You will not be able to stop them from taking your land through compulsory acquisition. But if you don't want to still give it, you don't want to take compensation, don't pick up lathis, don't become violent. Just say we will not leave, we will not go, and I'll come and I'll stand with you. I can give you that much support. So one village agreed to give their land. The adjoining village, they said we will not give. And till date, that village has not been mined. I am their representative, not a representative of the
So then you
coal
think
field.
that some of the tribal issues may continue if at all they have these concerns?
They want to be heard. There is justification, like in these, you mentioned this Adani Hasdeo area. There are these 2-3 villages. One is Hariharpur, one is Salhi, part of Salhi, which are included in there. These villages from day one have not been in agreement. And their claim is that the Gram Sabha, on the basis of which this is being done, was managed. We never agreed. And I agree with them. The group of people got together and pass, that sort of thing was done. And till date, they have this grievance that we did not pass this resolution. Adjoining villages have agreed. So it is not a one-sided story.
Yeah.
The adjoining villages, they have said, Ki, Hani, you take our land, you're giving us so much compensation. We agree, and they have taken the compensation. They have been rehabilitated. One entire village by the name of Kete, if you will recall, the name of the mine is Parsa Kete.
Yes.
So Parsa is one village, part of which has gone. Kete is another village where the entire village has gone. They are all in my constituency. So that entire village has been sort of relocated at another village. Basen is the name of the village where they have been relocated. How happy or otherwise they are, that's another issue.
Congress in Chhattisgarh seems to be adopting the soft Hindutva stance. Do you think it will fetch the necessary results or will it cause more harm?
A tourism route, Ram Vangaman Path, that is the name which has been given to this project. There are these mythologies that during Vanvas, Ramchandra ji, Sita, Lakshman, they went south of Ayodhya and they went up to Lanka. So one theory is that they went up to the Narbada. They didn't cross right up to actually Ceylon. There are various theories. So the route that is connected through these folklore and mythologies starts from the northwestern corner of Chhattisgarh in Korea district. Harchoka is the village adjoining Madhya Pradesh. So from there right to the south adjoining Telangana, Konta, this path has been woven through this mythology and folklore that Ramji went here, Ramji went there. So some of those spots have been chosen, and corridor, tourism corridor has been envisaged. So uplifting these centers of religious getting together. There are temples, there are sources. So this can be seen as soft Hindutva, if you want to see it as soft Hindutva, where the BJP has been constantly trying to push hard Hindutva. We haven't been able to go beyond, or we are in the process of digesting Ayodhya. Now this Vapi, Gyan Vapi thing has come up now. Mathura is on the burner, next in line. So when all these activities are taking place, the projection that is made is that the Congress persons are irreligious, religion doesn't matter to them, which is completely false. So when a public media propagation is being made by one party of being nationalists on the basis of religion, on the basis of Hindutva, and the other people, other parties, their members are doing puja, part, everything, maybe more sincerely than some other people, that reflects as if you are irreligious. So then if in the public perception you place yourself in a position which says that we are not irreligious, we are not against Hindutva, we probably do much more puja than somebody who's talking about religion. So to also be seen as not being unassociated with mythologies or religious places of religious worship and giving them sanctity or giving them recognition, that is what probably is going on in Chhattisgarh. It is not soft Hindutva in any other way, but an activity where people would want, you want to travel, imagine where Harchoka is. If you see Chhattisgarh, it's that seahorse. So from the mouth of the seahorse to the tail, right to the tail. There are these places associated with that. So you can call it soft Hindutva.
Wasn't adopting soft Hindutva line discussed at the Chintan Shivar also? Wasn't it one of the...
I was not in the committee where it could have been discussed. Maybe it was in the Political Affairs Committee.
And politically, I think, yes.
I was not part of that committee.
In your state, there has been a rising number of right-wing Hindutva rallies which have turned violent. How does Chhattisgarh plan to address this growing menace?
Traditionally, Chhattisgarh has been non-violent.
Yes.
These sentiments have traditionally not been there in Chhattisgarh. Caste feeling, not in Chhattisgarh. That strong Hindutva sort of a movement, not in Chhattisgarh. Now they are wanting to, with the media having made the world so much smaller, with that, the presence of this apparent success which those who are propounding the cause of Hindutva feel, from 2 seats in the Lok Sabha, if they are today at a simple majority, even in the NDA, a party is enjoying a single party, simple majority. So they feel this has succeeded. This propagation of which started from the Rath Yatra, Advani ji from Gujarat, etc., has revived their chances, and they feel that there is a mobilization or a consolidation of votes which is coming about from this, which is giving them success. They've done a lot of other things in the past which have not given them success, including Gau Mata, so many other things which they have tried, the various organizations have tried. But today they feel they are tasting success on this point. So wherever they want to make an impact, wherever in the country they feel they are not strong enough, they will be using this. And they tried to use it in Chhattisgarh also.
So how does the state plan to respond?
Put the facts in front of the people. Let the people see through things and not allow them to have the opportunity to play these games.
Shouldn't that?
Yes, that is the part of government and governance, to see that these divisive games are not allowed to be played by people who are seeking political gains through propagating certain views. So that certainly is there. They tried in Kavardha.
But it was almost successful.
In the sense there was a mobilization, yes. But then for me personally, the by-election was a test. Okay. The by-election we had in the adjoining seat of Khairagarh. It is adjoining Kavardha. So I had this clearly in my mind, and they were trying to mobilize support on those grounds. Okay, let us see what the impact of Kavardha has been. But the Congress won comfortably. Because the issue was, we'll make your area into a new district. So the district prevailed rather than whatever they were trying to do. So they are going into villages, putting up the Bhagwa Jhanda in an organized sort of a way, 108. I am by chance the minister in charge of that district. So administration must be alert not to make mistakes in taking action promptly. If something happens, then you should not hesitate to take action against the wrongdoer. If you are made to be seen to be supporting somebody through inaction, then you are giving the other party who wants to create a situation an opportunity to light the sparks.
So after UP, Chhattisgarh has seen the maximum number of attacks against Christians. In 2021, 91 cases were recorded. As of 2022 February, 12 cases. What should the state be doing to protect its citizens? This shouldn't be happening.
It should be taking even action against anybody who is breaching the law. Again, I am not one who would feel defensive about taking action. If you are taking action against somebody, oh, you are trying to protect a minority. Say to minority बात करते हैं, they are what is the word they use? तुष्टीकरण की नीति कांग्रेस अपनाती है कि उसको खुश करने के लिए या संतुष्ट करने के लिए you are supporting them to sort of get their votes. This is the reverse side of the picture which they built their Hindutva on. Congress tries to placate minorities. So you have to stick to being what you are, which is even. Be with right. Don't help somebody because he is a Christian. Don't not help somebody because they are not Christians. Don't stand by somebody because he is a Muslim.
So shouldn't the state be doing?
It should definitely, without any hesitation, the state and the country. That is what mankind or Vasudevaka Kutumbakam is all about. If this world is a family, then you have to be even-handed.
There are so many cases being recorded. Then
see, there are these organizations, particularly in Bastar area and Sarguja area. These are the tribal belts where they have been constantly trying to bring up this issue, conversion. There is conversion taking place, there is conversion taking place. Conversion has taken place undoubtedly over a period of time after independence. Now it has more or less evened out. So they try to pick up this issue in these tribal areas and try and reach the voter on that basis. Form a plank on they are converting. They are making them into Christians. It doesn't apply to Muslims as a minority, but to Christians. Definitely they try to play it as a card. So where they become violent, trying to be physical with the community, which happens to be a minority community. So the issue is not that they are minority community or they are Christians. The issue is that they have been beaten up.
yes.
So if somebody is using means of dominance which is not acceptable in law, then you should be taking action because of that, not because you are defending a Christian.
Now elections are just almost 18 months away. I heard that there was an internal survey which pointed out that almost 40% of the MLAs are unlikely to get re-elected. How do you plan? So does this mean there is anti-incumbency?
There will always be anti-incumbency. That is part of the thing. You have to assess one, the winnability of each candidate. So we have 71 MLAs in a house of 90. So we have to see which 90 will be winning, whether they are MLAs or not MLAs. So that is the assessment that is done at the time of distribution of tickets, that who is the winning candidate. I think we did that well in the last election, apart from whatever else we did. The organization stood up against the BJP for 5 years before the election. We went through the manifesto making, we did a lot of things together. There was a coming together of Congress persons, but also with all that, at the time of giving tickets, it should not be ki he is my man, so give him the ticket. There should be no quotas for leaders. If ever there are quotas for leaders, the only criteria should be, is that guy winning? So winnability is the only criteria which should be considered at the time of distribution of tickets, and those who don't measure up to that, whether they are sitting MLAs or ministers, they should be sorted out.
Both CM and you have begun touring the state, but separately. It adds to the rumors that there could be differences between CM Bhupesh Baghel and you. What do you?
As far as my touring is concerned, I had taken it this time as a New Year resolution, because you talked of anti-incumbency just now. I feel I am not present in my constituency as much as I should, or I had been when I was an MLA or the leader of the opposition. I was far freer of other responsibilities, where as a minister, and particularly in COVID times, in the health department, I felt the need of my being there much more, and movement was also restricted. So this was my New Year resolution. It got delayed because of UP elections, then our budget session, something or the other. And as it came about, both these tours started about the same time. In fact, on the same date, at coincidence would have it. There's no plan to that. I just wanted to tour the area. I had told many people what we call promises. I'll be coming, I'll be visiting. Many of our health institutions had got national awards. I told them during those ceremonies, I'll come and visit your facility, encourage them, and to see actually how well they have done. Both things were there. So my tour, so to say, was there. It just came about at the same time. And I think if we are touring, we are covering more of the area of Chhattisgarh. Every minister is touring. It's not just that I am touring or the chief minister is touring. He is also touring. I am also touring. Other ministers are also touring. That is touring. So for me, it is a discharge of responsibility. Meeting people is also important. When you are in politics, you would want to meet people, know what the situation is, know where you lie.
So we'll end with, it was said in the media there was a promise of making you the CM after 2.5 years. First it will be Bhupesh Baghel and then you. Do you, does it seem likely now? Or?
When we got a majority in the last election, 4 people were called to Delhi. Charandas Mahanji, who is today our speaker, he is an erstwhile minister of the Congress from Madhya Pradesh times also. He is a minister of state in the government of India, in the UPA government also. He was the PCC president also. He was one. Tamradhar Sahuji was called. He is a member of the CWC. He was a member of parliament. He was the chairman of the OBC cell of the All India Congress Committee. Then Bhupesh Bhai was called, I was called. So when these 4 people were called, it came into public knowledge that they are possible chief ministerial candidates. Why are you calling these 4 people at a time when a chief minister is to be decided for the state? So that is where this thing started off from. And when eventually Bhupesh was announced as the chief minister, their media reported that there is this formula, one of our leading national channels, and since then this has been there, 2.5 saal, this thing has been there. So one, there are many things. You have to respect the privacy of closed doors. When we have meetings, there are things which we don't mention in the public, on the public platform. So that one has to, one respects that, but then it is not for me to say. Whatever has happened, whatever needs to be told is for the high command or the senior authorities to say. If they have not said anything, then that is the situation. Yet this thing has been there in the media, and theoretically these possibilities are always there. These decisions are taken by the high command.
Thank you for speaking.
Thank you so much.